It's connecting here. It says live in the top corner. So hello everybody and welcome to the Brain or Shine latest webinar, the Christmas themed one. We've got our Christmas hats on and Jules has grown a beard since you last saw her.
Yeah, trying to catch up.
Yeah.
But look, my moustache twizzles.
Yeah, you need to wax that, don't you?
I'm going to take it off shortly because I won't lie, it is irritating. I'm tickling my nose, so I think I might be sneezing if I don't take it off.
I'm going to level with you. That's why I didn't put one of those on. I'm already getting hot in this hat, so I might have to take that off in a minute as well.
It is. No, it's tickling my nose.
Yeah, but yeah, you take that off. That's a good idea, actually. Yeah, but welcome everybody to the Christmas edition of the Brain or Shine webinar. You stuck, are you?
Oh, yeah, that's it. I'm better.
Well prepared.
A wardrobe malfunction there.
Anyway, we are Jules and Mark from Brain or Shine. And if you're joining us for the first time, then this webinar is scheduled for around about 30 minutes. So we aim to finish about 6 o'clock. It's called the Festive Season, I can't say that, the Festive Season Survival Guide. We could have called it something easier, couldn't we?
Yes, we should have done it. We should have practiced saying it.
So we'll talk about what we're going to cover in a moment. But just so you guys know, we obviously can't see you. You can see us, but we can't see you. So you're totally private on here. We can just read what you put in the chat. So please do chat in the chat. We like it when people interact on that because we know that it's hopefully useful stuff that we're sharing with you.
Hi, Angela.
Hi,
Thank you for joining.
Yeah. So please do chat in the chat. If you do ask a question or share something and we're sort of mid-flow talking, we may come back to it. We will keep an eye on that. So don't think we've ignored you if we haven't responded straight away. And please do share your tips as well, because we actually learn as much from you guys as we do by what we share from our tools and tips. But yeah, we wanted to talk a little bit about the Festive Survival Guide because for many years, I've really struggled to basically get through this really, really busy time of the build up to Christmas, the Christmas parties, the Christmas shopping, the rushing around everywhere, seeing everybody. And of course, because I've struggled with it, that's had a knock-on effect on Jules. And that means that Jules has probably had to do a little bit more or miss out on a few things that we've got planned, which is always really, really annoying as well. So we just wanted to share some of our own tips and also see what you guys think and share some tips that we had through the community as well, what people have said to us.
Because the build-up is difficult. It is really difficult. And let's face it, it starts in about October. Everything starts really sort of gearing up. So the music seems to be louder in the shops. Obviously, the Christmas tunes get put on, but it just does seem to be a bit louder. Everything is glittery and it's got lights, some more flashing sort of lights going on, and busy, just very, very busy. And it seems to go on for a very long time. Whereas I do remember it literally only was a few weeks before Christmas, you had time to get yourself organised. So it can be a little bit difficult and very, very stressful when reality is in October and November, you might just want to pop to the shop for something you would normally do or want, but it's much, much harder now because of all the extra stuff that's around for Christmas.
Yeah, and Christmas seems to start earlier every year, doesn't it? Yeah,
October.
Yeah, October time, and the somebody told me the Easter eggs are in the shop already as well, but I'm not even going there yet. But in this lead up to Christmas, one thing that we found has worked really well for us is actually trying to simplify things. So trying to get things onto our own terms. And this year's Christmas planning has been a lot more laid back, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has changed again, even more so than how it was when we spent most of our time back in the UK. Because generally I'm a bit of a planner anyway, and I think planning for certain things like this is really, really helpful when you've got somebody with you that's got a brain injury. So I would sit down and write down who we were planning to buy a Christmas present for, and I try and think about what would be a good present for them, but something that wouldn't involve it becoming difficult or a pain in the backside because it was hard to find in the shops or even online. So that for me was always really, really good and really made the actual shopping a bit easier. And somebody's put on here that I like shopping online. Yeah, started doing that properly years ago, particularly when Mark had only been sort of diagnosed, 2-3 years?
Yeah.
And I was going through the treatment for the breast cancer. Online was an absolute godsend, everything. And to be fair, the last couple of years, same thing, online shopping, because you can just sit and do it at your own ease and when it's comfortable for you to do it.
Although saying that as well, I've found sometimes now that online shopping is a little bit overwhelming as well. So what used to be really, really simple, I'm finding that I'm getting loads of choices. So, for example, the last thing that I bought off of one of those major websites that supply across the world, no names mentioned, Amazon, was there was too much choice. I was trying to buy one product, and there was one thing that was priced at £15, and then the same product was also priced at £90. And I was trying to work out. I was thinking, I'm sure it's exactly the same. It was just a different make, and it had a different name on it. But it wasn't a branded name. It wasn't like, Nike or Adidas or something like that. They just had two different names that I totally didn't recognize. And it became really difficult to think, well, is that one price, that price worse than that one there? Or is it different? I don't know. And then, of course, with Amazon now, they make it so convenient that you end up probably paying with the wrong card or getting it delivered to the wrong address if you have multiple addresses in it. So it can sometimes be a thing to look out for. But the bottom line is, it saves you going to the store, it saves the busyness, it saves all the running around, doesn't it? And it gets delivered for you, which is wonderful.
And Sue says that she finds online really fatiguing, and I get that as well, because as Mark just said, it can be, because the choice, I suppose it's more or less the same as the shop, but you do get the choice. But one thing that I do know, and that over the last years, that making a decision for Mark has become harder and harder and harder.
Absolutely.
So when he's faced with which one to buy, whether it be in the shop or online, that's a real challenge for him. Facebook ads, yes, I get ideas from those as well. That's a really good one. So yes, Steve says your husband does all the shopping, and I'll be honest with you, I think I do 98% of the shopping. The 2% that Mark does is for me. But I have to give him a list, because otherwise, goodness only knows what I might get.
Yeah. I have really struggled again to buy presents in the past. And I'm just talking for Jules, because I'll go and see something and I'll try and work out whether it's the right thing or not, whether I've got the right product, or whether Jules is going to like it, or so on. But it can be quite hard, especially that decision-making process can be really, really difficult. But it is about persistence, and it sounds sometimes, I generally sometimes feel a bit bad, because I feel like it's a bit of an excuse that I'm saying, oh, well, I can't do this because I can't process it. And there's times where I can process it and it works really well, but then there's times where it's just an absolute block and my attention goes off onto something else, and it's really, really difficult.
Yeah, but I do think one of the, if you can do it, is to try and plan what it is that you need, what you absolutely, you bare minimum that you need. Plan how you're going to get it, who you're going to get to help you, because very often, like in our case, it's heavily reliant on myself, which in itself can be really stressful when you're dealing with the stress of living with somebody with a brain injury anyway. So if you can get some form of help from any sort of friends or family as well, then that's always a good thing.
Yeah, too right. Nicholas, St. Nick, we'll call you St. Nick today if you don't mind, has put that Christmas time, what's really depressing is the hidden neurological symptoms which have led to where you are now. Totally get that. And sometimes you can't afford the gifts.
Mm-hmm.
And this again is something we were talking about a little bit yesterday when we were recording the latest podcast episode, is that expectation of Christmas. So when somebody's saying, I'm really struggling to afford things, it makes you feel really bad, especially if somebody's buying you a present. Now, we've found in the past as well that sometimes making a gift can be really good because that has more love and more personality to it. The obviously downside is if you're not a creative person, not very good at making things, then of course you're a little bit stuck with that as well. But yeah, Nicholas said also he feels really bad about it, and people with worse neurological symptoms than me can appreciate that obviously he can walk, talk, move and communicate, whereas somebody else might not have the ability to even go online and buy a gift or whatever. But my family always used to say it's the thought that counts. So even a small gift can sometimes be good as well. But
and Angela says something that I've done a lot of: buy lots of people similar, so you can just sort of almost buy in bulk. I've done that.
Fantastic.
I think I remember, I don't, was it chocolate wine or something I came across? So everybody had a bottle of chocolate wine, so whatever.
Yeah, that's true. I actually like the chocolate wine. That was quite nice. I like chocolate, but I don't like wine. But it sort of worked in a random sort of way. And yeah, small things from charity shops as well. Angela said that's a really, really good tip there, because it's it is just the thought. It's sometimes thinking and making it personal.
Louise says, have we thought of Rain or Shine merchandise? And yes, we have. And that is on the list of things to organise next year for sure. What we have done though is we've put out a Brain or Shine journal, which is now available, which is a great little gift for somebody living with somebody affected by a brain injury, because you're able to journal your feelings, your thoughts and everything, and see what patterns there are.
Yeah. Oh, when Amy said Secret Santa, we're on that, Amy. We actually did a Secret Santa between us. I picked Jules out and she picked me out.
Brilliant.
Happens
every year.
We did it a few years ago. I picked myself out and you picked it. So we swapped, didn't we? We had to fix the drawer until we got each other. And Angela's also said hotel chocolate. Oh, wow.
Absolutely. But one thing to put one thing to put on your planning list is just to make sure that you make for the big day and the period where the shops are kind of shut, or certainly chemists, that you've got all your medication, because that's not something that you want to run out of.
Not at all. And I'm really lucky because I don't take any medication. So it's one of those things that I always forget to touch on that subject. So Jules reminded us that earlier. But we talked a little bit as well when we were planning this about how to deal with actually Christmas Day itself. And Christmas Day is, I always find it a strange one because, as Jules mentioned earlier, it generally starts to build up from October, even September. I actually knew somebody who'd done their Christmas shopping in September this year. Ridiculous. But that's forward planning. It's not for me. It's too early. But just actually thinking about the build up to this day, and then we have this day, and how many times do you guys actually get to the end of Christmas and think, was that it? And we do sometimes build something up so much that we either over plan it or we miss the moment, or it can be a bit underwhelming. And we've actually found that over the years that we've made it more and more simple for ourselves. So we were in the fortunate position with our business a few years ago that we could actually take time off and just go and travel. And I remember the first time we did it, people in our family were a little bit sort of, well, what about us? You're not going to be here for Christmas Day.
No, you're not going to cook for us on Christmas Day.
Yeah, there was that.
That was it.
But then we thought, what is it we actually wanted? And after the first year, there may have been a little bit of resistance from a couple of people, but then they sort of expected, oh, where are you going for Christmas this year? And I think it is about setting your own expectation and managing the expectations of others, which also sort of leads us on to the last Christmas that we spent with family in the UK. We spent it with 3 grandsons. Now, if you can imagine putting 3 boys in a room, if you don't have 3 boys already, it's quite loud. And I know from the brain injury community that you all share with me that kids running around making lots of noise, playing noisy games with the TV on in the background, I'm already starting to feel fatigued just thinking about that. So what we did at this Christmas was we actually laid down a few, not ground rules because they weren't rules, but
boundaries.
Boundaries and expectations. And the thing I found the best from it was because we sort of spoke about it together. So it wasn't me going there and saying, this is what we're going to do, or it wasn't Jules saying, this is what we're going to do for Mark. We sort of said, look, Christmas is going to be quite busy. We appreciate the boys are going to be excited. We don't want them to not have a really exciting time, but we need a few things in place. So, for example, if I'm feeling fatigued, then I need to have an escape room. And that escape room became their living room, their front room, which is quite a lovely, relaxing, homely sitting room. And the boys were playing in the other room. That's where all the toys were, the presents were, and everything like that. And then my second escape room I had was upstairs, so I could actually completely escape if I wanted to. And what actually happened on that day was pretty amazing, because even though the boys didn't say what's wrong or why have we got to do this, they somehow got that they could be noisy, but within a limit, and they didn't actually end up getting told off for being too noisy. They enjoyed their Christmas, but there was a few times where it's like, right, I didn't have to say, I'm going out the room now. I just walked out the room and went into the other room, and there was no issue with it at all. I'll probably just go and put the TV on. I think I fell asleep on the sofa once.
Angela, that's really sad what I've just written, that your sister said that it's taken the fun out of the family Christmas. It's a hard one to hear that for you, because you haven't taken the fun out of it. You haven't meant to take the fun out of it. And you're just asking just for a little bit of support for how it makes you feel. And yeah, I'm sorry that that's been said to you. I mean, we get it. We've had it for years. We've had Mark's really selfish, isn't he? I don't know why you're still with him, because he ruins everything, or you can't do this anymore and you can't enjoy it. And yeah, it's really difficult. Really difficult.
It is definitely, yeah.
And you just have to look at them and think, well, ignorance is bliss, isn't it? You're ignorant if you don't, you're not getting it. If you, it would be so much nicer if you could just take a moment to almost try and understand. We know people can't do it because people don't know what it's like to walk in other people's shoes. But yeah, just a little bit of understanding.
Yeah. And again, just going back to that, Angela, is sometimes about just explaining these things to people, because at the end of the day, you're the one that's having to live with these conditions on a daily basis. And these are the people that don't understand it. I mean, putting it bluntly, we didn't understand brain injury until it happened. And it took us a lot of years to actually still understand it until we went onto a support program. And I think it was, I actually feel really comfortable now educating somebody and saying, look, I'm going to need a bit of quiet time. We went out with some friends the other night who understand brain injury. One of them's worked in the NHS before, so they've got a really good idea. And the first thing we done when we walked into a restaurant, they went to sit down in a seat, and I said, do you mind if I have that seat there? Because there's a big table over there, and if that table gets filled with 12 or 14 people, I'm not going to hear you guys. Straight away, they just turned around and sat in the opposite seats. There was no issue with it at all. But again, because we've done that groundwork in the first place, I think 95% of the time now people understand. I might get the odd grunt from somebody that doesn't understand it. And funny enough, sometimes it's people in the family that get that. I'm not going to name who, but there's one particular person in my family who will sometimes make a bit of an issue of it, or will go, oh, you're right, you're okay, do you need to move over here? And almost it comes across a little bit patronizing. But I just think, yeah, I'm fine. And yes, I would like to move over there, thank you. And I've now got the ability to think, I think you're trying to be nice, but if you're trying to be awkward, it's not my problem now. I just need to do what's right for me and what's right for Jules. And if they have the problem with that, then I can't really change it. So it's horrible when somebody makes you feel that way, definitely.
It is horrible. But one of the other things, just slightly moving away from the whole sort of Christmas thing, but whilst we're on the theme of this, one of the things that we have done over the last few years is the people that don't understand, the people that don't want to understand, we've kind of removed them from our lives, or really pushed them way back. And we've surrounded ourselves with people that want to understand, people that care, people like you lovely people that have joined us here, because in that situation you can feel safe, you can say what you want to say without anybody thinking, oh well, that's just not right, is it?
Right.
So, you know, maybe that's something that you need to think about in the new year, is about who you surround yourself with, and surround yourself with people that understand. And as Bethany said, there's no judgment.
Yeah, that's really, really good to hear that. I'm going to chuck a few positive things in there. So we were talking about self-care tips around this time as well. And I just picked 3 things I wrote down earlier. I didn't tell Jules what they are, so it's just a little bit of a surprise. But one thing that we were talking about, things to make you happy around Christmas. And let's face it, we're all expected to be joyful. We're all expected to do all these things that everybody else does. But it is about us at the end of the day. It's our day, it's our life, and it's not what we call the Instagram world. So things that make us happy around Christmas are real simple things, like maybe putting on your favourite Christmas songs. Not the Mariah Carey one for me, apologies. Does anybody else like that one, the Mariah Carey one? If you do, listen to that. And also watching your favourite films. So it might be putting on one of those really old films that reminds you of the great wonderful childhood maybe, or it could be from a great memory. I always love watching Home Alone. We need to watch that again. That's my favourite Christmas film. What's yours again?
Oh, I have loads.
Yeah.
Scrooge. Muppet Christmas Carol.
Oh, Muppet's Christmas Carol. Yeah.
Grinch.
And let us know what yours are as well. Pop them in the chat, because we might need some. Oh, Love Actually, yeah.
Oh, Love Actually. You have to watch that. That is such a Christmas film.
I always forget that's a Christmas film as well. I always forget that one. But yeah, that's a great suggestion there. The other one as well that I put at number 2 self-care tip is just to take a moment. And we've talked about this already, and you guys have talked about it. But just sometimes taking a moment to sit down and take in the moment. So it could be that you're watching that Christmas film and think, right, do you know what? I'm going to put everything to one side and I'm going to enjoy this. And if I fall asleep, it doesn't matter. I'll watch it again. And enjoy what the festivities actually mean to you. So if you are going to see some family and friends and you're enjoying being in their company, try and get that moment where you all sit down and take away the noise and the busyness and think, right, let's just enjoy a little bit of Christmas. I like Christmas games as well. Sometimes they can be a bit busy. And then the last one I'll put on here as well, and this goes back a little bit to my childhood Christmases. So every year, Christmas Day will be at home, and I generally have my grandparents come round and we'd have Christmas dinner and all that. It'd be all exciting. And then on Boxing Day, we'd all go to my grandparents' house, and there will probably be about 20 odd of us all gather around the Christmas table. We'd have Christmas party. We'd have little silly presents that our family called silly presents, and they would go around the table, pull some Christmas crackers, and then after Christmas dinner and Christmas pudding and all that, we'd play a few games and everybody go for a walk. And it was amazing because you go outside, of course it would always be cold on Boxing Day, and we just go for a walk, and it was, for my age, quite a long walk as well, but we really enjoy it. And of course when we get back home, the first thing you want to do is eat loads of chocolate and mince pies, which was fantastic. And that was the nicest bit, was getting outside, because when you came back you felt ready to enjoy Christmas again, play some games, and a lot of the adults would have a little sleep on the sofa. So that was always really good. Amy said Gavin and Stacey.
Absolutely. I can't wait for that. Cannot wait for that. And yeah, for some reason, I'm expecting tissues as well. I have no idea. I've tried to steer away from anything, any giveaways or anything, but I think it might be a little bit tearful. I don't know why I've got that idea in my head.
Oh.
But yes. I don't think I've watched It's a Wonderful Life.
I was just thinking, no, I don't know if I have or not.
No. So yeah, but there you go, it's on the list.
Yeah. So Gavin and Stacey, I hope it's happy. I'm not watching EastEnders. There's always a drama in that one, isn't there? But yeah, we're coming up to 6 o'clock now. Yeah. But please do keep interacting with Brain or Shine on the Facebook group and on the chats and everything. We're here for you as much as you're here for us, if that makes sense. And it's been just over a year since we created this community, and we've had some really, really lovely interactions with you all as well. And I can't tell you how much that means to us, but it's not about us, it's about you guys. So we really want to thank you for everything you've done in 2024 for Brain or Shine. We'll keep working on different ideas. We've got some new stuff coming in the new year as well. But we do appreciate that there's a lot of information out there. So we don't want to overwhelm you or overwhelm ourselves with it. Tell a friend if you know anybody that can benefit. Get your partner, get your family on board and say, listen to this, have a watch of this or whatever, because that could maybe help them understand as well.
And I can't remember, somebody asked where they get the journal from.
Oh, yeah, of course. Everything you can find is on brainonshine.com. So there is links to the journal, there's links to some free resources, there's links to our webinars, podcasts, and blogs, whichever ones you find easiest to engage in. And you can also find it on Amazon, of course, because everything's on Amazon. So we wish you all a Merry Christmas.
We do. We wish you a very peaceful, a very joyful Christmas. And you never know, one year we may all be able to get together and there'll be no issues. We'll all be fine.
Oh, wouldn't that
and
be
everybody
wonderful?
will be just enjoying themselves, whether you're interacting, involved, or just taking a bit of time out. Actually, somebody gave a tip about if you're in a group of people and you're finding it too much, to have a book and pretend you're reading, because people will ignore you. That was a good one that I saw.
Yes.
So I just thought I'd quickly say that one. But yes, thank you guys for following us. Thank you for the support. Thank you for interacting with each other. And yeah, a massive virtual hug to each and every one of you.
Yay. And have a wonderful Christmas, wonderful New Year. And remember to take it easy and take some time to rest. We'll see you all very soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.